Again, that would be,
It's better, okay.
it's been modified.
Okay, glad you're
We
here.
have a new permit. If we don't have a new permit, we should have come.
Good Good evening, everybody. It's
Boiling the frog.
meeting for
Right.
the CAC.
Everybody advised,
Call it to order.
here, little there.
To see it.
That's 20,000.
We do it.
Evening.
Okay, we have scheduled two things. First of all, let's see, any questions on the minutes from December 3rd? Any changes required? I think they were accurate, so.
I thought so too.
Take a vote to approve them, approve the minutes as written.
Yes. I so move. All in favor? Yeah.
Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Now, wetlands applications. I see Pam, how you doing? I see you wrote two memos to us. Maybe you want to explain, or I have your memos requiring the sequence and everything.
Okay, thanks, Howard.
But-
Yeah, I mean, I'm just citing what was put in the PW grocery reports that were sent to the town regarding both of these applications.
Yes. We've been to the sites, and I know the South Ferry site it's all wetlands, really, you know, regulation, and it's also, site plan review is required that they haven't set up yet for that yet, so we're aware of that, but I don't think our comments, I think we can give our comments on them, and they're okay, since we did the work. What the heck, we're not gonna go back and look again, so I think we'll proceed with that. And also, I don't see anything, I mean, the secret and all that, you're absolutely correct, they have to take care of it, the town. But on the Ludman, same thing, the grocer comments and stuff. But, again, the wetlands review that we do, yes, it will be affected by the CEQA, but ours would be probably the same either way, so. I think we're gonna proceed with them, Pam, if you don't have anything.
No, Howard, I think that's fine. I just wanted you to be aware that those, the environmental consultant firm put in a comment on them, and there are things that are awry. I mean,
Right.
if the plans aren't matching and the full environmental assessment form isn't filled out properly, I think these are things that need to be addressed, and I thought you would be interested in such a thing.
Yes, we are interested, Pam, and I didn't know about it until I got the memos tonight, and it's very interesting. I guess the town will have to take care of that. Appreciate your work on that, and I have the memos, I'm going to study them, but for now, we'll just go through what we have on our comments on these two projects, and if we have to change them, we'll change them. That'll be up to the town at some time. But thank you again.
I don't think you need to vote on it. You make comments, but I don't think you're gonna need to vote.
Whether,
Without these things being changes made to the project.
okay, but in our minutes, we'll put down the comments that we have,
Yeah.
that we have on it, and we won't vote on it, but I guess if you advise us not to, we're certainly not going to vote on it, so.
Well, if this changes, your vote,
Well, our comments generally, they are part of what CEQA would be required. but
then make a note and after your vote that it's contingent on.
On the CEQA review by the town, yeah. Okay, that's what we'll do. I think that's the best way.
Then again, if we don't vote on it, we can leave it open for further comment. Whereas if we vote on it, does that sort of like drop the hammer and we can't comment further if something changes, or?
Always comment further, I think, we're not under any other restrictions like that. If that changes anything to the plan, we could always add to it or something. The town would say, I would think, let's put it back to the committee. That's all. I mean, my memory's not that good, so if I don't put the stuff down now and the paperwork and stuff, but
I would just make comments and not vote.
not vote.
I do agree.
All right.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me too.
Then we can revisit it when
Right.
When they do these,
further information
if they have to, I
by
don't.
the applicant, because it's all gonna come from the applicant.
Yeah,
So they're not gonna be able to act on anything we do anyways.
no, they're not going to, because like the South Ferry has certain things. So I'll just make our comments and then so that the applicant can see them and maybe make some changes for that.
Yeah, it gives them the opportunity.
Heads up on it, let's go. All right, so let's proceed then. The first one is the South Ferry application, which is, I mean, the South Ferry is very important and, you know, it's surrounded by wetlands and they go into the 100-foot. It's a project that, I mean, they're trying to do something there. They must need extra room. But they do have an area which is up the road a ways that they could expand without hitting the wetlands, but that, you know, they have that existing building. I think the building's what, 40 years old or something? It's,
No, they rebuilt
they
it like
rebuilt
20
most
years
of it,
ago.
20
Maybe
years.
they
Phillips built that, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It was back in the, well, maybe the 80s.
But it's
In the 90s, I think.
before the 2002 wetlands.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think so.
Probably the
They
90s.
built it. And if you go down there, you can see the elevation is high. And I think probably the road would have to be raised before anything would really happen there because as you know, if you go down there on a high storm day or something, it's flooded. The road is flooded. You can-
Well, they just raised all the slips.
Yeah.
The process of
raised
doing
it,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then the road is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's the problem.
They have the little sign stuck on the side of the hill where
Yeah, where the Sandy
flood
was.
height came in.
Hopefully we don't get another storm like Sandy, but
Well, they say we're gonna get lots, so.
Yeah.
but,
Well, the state's gonna have to raise the road, that's all.
yeah.
That's not gonna do anything for their building.
No, their building is quite high.
Well, the Sandy High, I mean, they're probably what, 3 feet higher than their building?
Yeah, but where's their basement?
I think it's just crawl space, isn't it?
But still, I mean,
Yeah.
another
Yeah,
foot
they
or
have
two,
the
they're gonna
boiler
be,
and stuff
they'll be
in there.
inundated.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know,
They would be in
you go
trouble.
down by the yacht club and you see they're raising that house way up in the air. So, I mean,
I mean, it would make.
eventually, that might be something that they have to look at too. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but that's why we'll just make our comments to them. I don't know,
so this is all one piece of property, this whole thing?
yeah, that's all their property. I don't know. I don't see Rob Herman here. He's very good on the wetlands. I had a question for him anyway, but he's representing this. And he's
It's all
not,
about the same elevation now.
yeah, so that
9, 10,
12,
8.
12 feet into the area, but
Yeah.
you see, this is the portion back
Back
here.
here, yeah.
Back in here, but
Right.
then they got wells they have to watch out for too with the septic and the septic system, I didn't see any approval or anything for that being there from the health department. And it's in the wetlands, you know, within that, it's supposed to be back 100 feet,
Right, yeah, well, they got exemption.
I guess.
And then this isn't residential, so this comes under the commercial code. And
Right,
it's
Yes,
pre-existing and they're allowed certain expansion, right, you know, so
yeah.
It's
criteria for that is different.
yes, but it's an interesting thing. So I made a couple of comments. I'll just read them and see if,
Is the purpose of this just to expand the office, or are they?
yeah, the basic, oh, well, no.
They don't
They
specify.
say two things. First of all, it makes it ADA compatible
Right.
that they're doing this for, which is an excellent thing that we should have.
Right.
But
And the other thing.
how does it make it, does that make sense to you? Like when you're making something ADA compatible, isn't that ingress and egress? Isn't it access?
Yeah,
Okay, I just.
and that's
didn't
what
think
it
you
is for. And that's to get the.
So that would be the front of the building as opposed to
No,
the,
they're coming from the back.
oh, you come from the back to get in.
Get in because the parking lot is there. It's easier than coming up the, I think
Okay,
that's.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
When I
Yeah, because
looked
I knew
at
it was
the
different.
plans, the ramp is in the back. coming
Okay, that's it.
And then they have
You probably have to do
an
that.
ADA.
Absolutely, by federal law,
Stuff like that.
right? Yeah.
Thing is, it's public access. And in order to, because they're looking for office space, they're looking for storage space, they're looking for a conference room. But in order to access the building, it has to be ADA compliant.
Right. And
So that's sort of like just something that they have to do.
To throw in there, yeah.
So they want the office space, and in order to have the office space, they have to make.
they figured to do it
accessible.
together, which is a good thing. And then to change the septic system, I always say it's better than what, we have now, but it's within the 100-foot, which is usually the health department doesn't want.
Yeah, well,
But you're stuck with what you got.
right.
So they make the situation the best they can.
That's what I would say to them.
Because you can't really put the septic system uphill.
Well, you can't put it
That
next to the
create-
wells.
Yeah, exactly,
You
so
gotta have a lot of other.
a lot of red marks on the plan. that-
Yeah.
But the plan was not submitted from the septic system, so I didn't see any.
That's proposed, so maybe it hasn't been approved yet.
Yeah. In the write-up, it's hints to it, but the mitigation measures, I mean,
End up being quite
it's
large.
pretty good.
Yeah, right.
It's like a,
Those were the comments I had. And the other one I had is, and unfortunately, the town has postponed our January 29th meeting on the wetlands, which I'm on that committee to review the code and stuff.
Right.
But they canceled it. But I wanted to ask Rob Herman, I wish he was on, because he determines this property from the mean high water line.
Right.
And I don't know what that means. Is it with the water, the mean high water for the last 5 years, the last 10 years, or whatever?
Well, generally speaking, if it's older than X, and I don't know what that X number is, but older than 10 years, they want you to reshoot it. Because it's the 30-day moving average.
Average out.
That obviously is starting to change.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I don't know what
But he probably did it.
Requirement is.
So either do I don't know.
a
how
year or
many
two or
years.
5 usually isn't an issue. It's, if you got something from 1972, they're gonna go, oh, wait a minute. I want to see that different, but,
But I mean, I would like Rob to maybe give us, because he's an expert on wetlands and it's his field, so, but he's not on, so. If he looks at our comments, maybe he'll get it. So that was the first thing. The second thing was that I didn't have any Suffolk County Health Department approval for the IA in that location.
Right.
Third thing, I said, all the DEC requirements for concrete installation, because they're doing all this in the wetlands, that no leachate concrete should be used, and it has to be waterproof forms and stuff, but I guess the building department should pick that up, right, Chris?
one would hope.
Okay, but.
If it's a requirement from the DEC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a requirement.
Really?
Waterproof. So it doesn't get into the wet, and that,
And that's just the forms are up for 3 or 4 days and the forms are gone, so.
yeah, that's all it is for, and that the concrete doesn't have any bad chemicals and minerals.
And you're not gonna have a building inspector standing there while they're.
No,
So you're sort of at the mercy of whoever's doing it to
well.
doing the right
The
thing.
building inspector could require
Were
the,
you talking,
A certificate,
you talking about the form release agent or the concrete itself?
the concrete itself.
I never heard of them.
I hadn't,
Special
I
concrete.
didn't know.
Yeah, it's leach,
It is-
it's, doesn't have.
Hydroban or whatever they call it, they
Well,
use,
they have anhydrous, makes it
And that's
waterproof.
more.
which they use on the Historical Society, because that's
Yes,
like a water
And
table.
that's the type of concrete they have to use. It's not the standard that they've made,
Right.
all in. It's a special, I think it's a low moisture concrete because it absorbs.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I've ever heard of is like you said, the anhydrous, you put it in there to make
Right.
it waterproof, but it doesn't.
And then it won't leach it out, because if it absorbs the water, then it'll leach out anything, so.
Right.
And plus, the waterproof forms is required by the DEC for the pouring. That's in the DEC requirement.
Waterproof forms, huh?
Yeah, it's on the, if you look.
They must got a new book. They hit me with some of their new stupid stuff.
It's hard, but it's
I don't know
in.
where they got indoctrinated, but
Yeah, if you look at DEC requirements. You know, they list all their requirements, conditions, and resource permit.
Right.
In there, it mentions the waterproof forms. So
Huh,
it's
wow.
what they are is, I guess,
It's so.
it's always something.
That's gonna
Always
cost,
something.
that's gonna cost somebody some money.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that is, but
Well, I guess it's.
somewhere they have them, I guess, but not here.
But it's some things required by DEC, so.
Waterproof
But
form.
if that's something that's coming, then that's gonna be something he's gonna, you know,
If you look, you know,
figure it out.
I mean,
what is, the DEC approval form lists here in the back. What's it say?
maybe that's something they're hoping for.
Well, the DEC, you know, what they do and what they, I don't know. But here it says something about it.
Yeah, I don't see it on the permit. They got a letter of non-jurisdiction here.
It says, no, that letter's okay, but it's,
Yeah, but you either have this or a permit. You usually don't have both. I didn't see a permit.
it says concrete leachate, first of all, item 8 on the DEC requirements, which they submitted on the Ludman thing.
That's Lodeman though.
Yeah, but that's a DEC requirement.
But like I say, this is no, well, the South Ferry has a letter of non-jurisdiction.
Yeah, for the height, the 10
But
foot.
that just means they don't need a DEC permit.
Really?
Yeah, it's either a permit or the LNJ. So if they have an LNJ, then, like I say, I didn't see it. That's what I was looking at. I didn't see a permit here for South Ferry.
Yeah.
So this just says that the DEC, you can do whatever you want, or not whatever you want, but, you know, you have to, you know, do all your stuff according to local law and all that. But the DEC says that we're not interested because you have elevation and they don't have, means they don't have jurisdiction. They don't have any say in what you do. So Lodeman is different because that's a DEC permit.
Yeah.
And the DEC permit does state specifically what they want them to do as far as, you know, runoff mitigation and hay bales. So this doesn't really have anything to do with South Ferry.
So as far as their, like silt fence and all that, that would just be whatever the town requires.
The wetland permit will cover that.
On the,
And usually the town goes with what the DEC wants to see,
Right.
yes,
Right.
not particularly,
And that changes from time to time too, because I take that course every 2 years, you know, and
well, the only thing is that on this form here, the New York State DEC, it says natural resource permit conditions apply to the following permits, titled wetlands. Now, this is in the title wetlands. So you would have to follow that, even though they have that letter of
I
non-jurisdiction.
would have to ask the town attorney.
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think,
Because this says,
yeah, letter.
they don't have jurisdiction.
right,
This says they don't have jurisdiction, so they don't apply their rules to this.
okay. So we would apply.
Does it have something to do with the fact that it's a transportation thing too?
I don't
mean,
know.
And again, now you're
It's
into
a
commercial.
requirement. I mean, what did
Right,
it, yeah,
right.
they have to have.
But it's a
that.
necessary, I mean, not that
Service.
they're dishes, but I'm saying, you know, the whole thing is probably under different regulations.
I would say
I mean,
so.
being the fact that they're operating at the end of a road and, you know, you've got to be able to have an office within walking distance and all that.
Yeah,
So they probably got excluded for a lot of stuff.
I would think so, but it doesn't, well, I just bring it
That's
up
probably where-
and.
That's probably where the letter of non-jurisdiction came from.
This probably came from when they built the original building, because this is dated in 2014.
Oh, it is?
This is 10 years old. So again,
When they renovated, but.
if the
they haven't
DEC,
looked at it.
so you, generally speaking, this says, be advised, this letter does not relieve you of any responsibility of obtaining any other necessary permits or approvals from other agencies. So this says, our agency says, you know, you, as long as you comply with the elevations, which don't change.
So we got that 14 years ago, it still covers.
And again, now we go back to the question of when do they want to see, you know, the different setback lines and stuff like that. But this is basically, they have bulkheads greater than 100 foot in length, and
Right.
the top of the bank is here, and that's not going to change.
Right.
So
But that's like a blanket certificate for anything?
generally speaking, once you're issued this is what you get,
Okay.
unless conditions
For any
change.
projects? Okay.
So like if you wanted to scour out, you know, if you wanted to dig all this down and make a,
Right.
that would change the elevations and stuff like that, but this is exceeds 10 feet above mean sea level. So that's what they're working with. So this would apply to this project.
Okay.
Being sea level 10 years ago, which would mean,
Well, they're looking at elevations, which is shot from the mean sea level. So if-
yeah.
I would think, and that would be a question for the applying engineer.
You're right. That's why I said I wish Rob was on it because he knows his field,
Well, since we're holding these hearings open,
right?
you can get a hold of Rob
Yeah. Ask him on that stuff.
before we sign off.
Oh, yeah, but that's just one thing I'm gonna put in the minutes that we brought up this point, but it's an open.
Does it even apply?
Yeah.
It seems like it doesn't.
I mean, if that was the case, they'd be doing that on all the stuff they're pouring down on the ramps and all that, you know, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's a whole different ball of wax because
Is it?
I'm sure that's DOT and
Oh, yeah.
that's state
right.
road. And
Right,
so
right.
That's even.
all of those provisions are going to probably come from a whole different agency. The DEC is going to say whatever they want you to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because
too complicated, yeah.
to DOT, one of my questions to Ken Lewis is that, you know, you're repaving everything with this asphalt, and that's not good. You know, it just goes into the water, into the wetlands and stuff like that, and what they're doing. And he says, well, the DOT hasn't come up with a new change, and he's correct.
Yeah.
We can't come and say anything. It's just like using CCA timbers for docks and stuff. Now, years ago, it really didn't matter. You had one dock on the island being added, but now everybody wants a dock and everyone. CAC should be eliminated from that.
They don't even make that anymore.
No,
It's
they
ACQ.
do.
It's called ACQ now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
It's pressure treated, but it's
Yeah.
different chemicals.
the CCA
Copper
is
chromated
used-
arsenate,
is used for bulkheads.
big timber.
Yeah, big timbers, big
It
stuff,
is.
you know, and it's,
What about the pilings, they're all ACQ?
I don't know.
Depends where you get it, I think.
What's wrong with old locust posts?
Well,
Yeah, that's, I mean, you can make a fortune if you go
Well,
low.
no, I mean, you know, there is no anything, and they last a long time.
I know.
You know,
I
the worms don't even, nothing bothers them.
But I know, like, when we were doing that one up on Ram Island, I talked to Jack Costello, and, you know, he says, we have nothing to replace the CCA
Right.
that we use on the bulkheads. And I said, well, maybe we should, I mean, we can send people to the moon, why can't we do something like that?
well, if you look at the slips at South Ferry, I think
Yeah.
North Ferry might have some, but the pilings there had used plastic at some point.
Right,
But I don't think it
that's
was
covered.
workable. I think it
Right.
probably gets brittle when it gets cold and you creation it with a 50-ton
They had
boat.
some of that like ironwood stuff from South America too, pilings.
Yeah, but
trees.
again, now you're talking dimensional lumber.
Right.
They probably,
that was the-
they probably don't have that, because if you get the Trex decking and stuff, it's real mushy. It doesn't have any sort of backbone to it.
Right.
So I'm not sure that you can, so when you're building a bulkhead, you have the sheeting, which they're making you use plastic now.
Fiberglass, yeah.
But the square parts where you bolt everything in is still pressure treated wood, because I
Yeah,
don't think
it's a
there's any
CCA.
plastic product that
CCA, yeah.
can.
I know, I don't know of any
The
either.
motion and the stress.
I just brought up as a question that we're polluting the waters every time we do that, you know, we're poisoning. And years ago, it wouldn't matter if you had one or two docks being built or something, you know, but now everybody's extending their docks.
You know what's strange though? There was so much more marine life around when they were using the old, remember the old, what was that oil stuff? Cooper, not,
Oh,
yeah.
I know what you mean.
No, but it was something else, it was really nasty.
It was that
Like tar oil stuff, and that's
Yeah.
what everything was.
Creosote.
Yeah, creosote.
Creosote.
And that's what the dock piling, you know, and
I
the
know.
wood, everything was made with that, and everything thrived, you know? But for some reason, the new chemicals, I guess, are just more toxic, whatever it is, but,
Whatever it is, I
Yeah.
don't know. Things change all the time.
Yeah.
Well, it's a combination of everything, you know, the temperature of the water,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
fish don't like it, so, you
Right.
know, we're in a big
Green
transition.
crabs come in, eat all the steamers and all the fun
They're
stuff.
from where they're not from China, they're from Europe, right?
I don't know where they came
Green
from.
crabs, I think they're from Europe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
so, and then the last thing I had was the test hole. Where is it? It's at 8'4" elevation, it says, if you look at the test hole. I couldn't find it on the plan. Maybe you guys can. I looked and I looked and I looked, so.
It's usually upland.
Yeah, either that or maybe they used an old, they might have used an old
Circle
one.
with a TH on it. you know?
Yeah,
But I didn't find any, and I think that should be put on there, so that we know. Doesn't make them.
Oh, here it is, right here,
Found it?
right where the unit's supposed to go, the hydraulic.
Oh,
thing,
is
right there.
that
See
it right
test
down
hole?
to there?
Yeah, right there. They
Okay,
put it right in the middle of the,
that thing, that's why I lost it by the,
Very light type,
right there, yeah,
corner of the new building.
yeah,
by the septic system.
right here, right there.
Okay, good, so we can cross that one off, that's good.
There's a palace.
That's where I'm finding that.
Anybody else have anything on South Ferry that we should just comment on?
Well, I mean, I think it kind of got to be lenient just to the fact of what they are and
Yes.
what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
You know, maybe they're doing this because they have to comply to all this stuff. You know, that might be forced into a lot of this, so, you know,
Well, yes, exactly, right.
maybe kind of against their will, you know, so I don't think to beat them up any further is,
No, but, you know, if they decided, maybe they could go back in here.
well, you got the wells, you got, you know.
That's right.
I'm sure they've looked all that over before they figured
I
this
would
out.
think so. I mean, Cliff Clark is, you know, he
Yeah.
knows the water.
Yeah, and he's got all the bulkheads already in,
You know, he knows.
yeah.
But I just brought him up and let them come back and reply to it, you know. Is it a commercial property or
Right.
that, nothing else?
And they're collecting their rainwater and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I'm sure that the North Ferry has the same problems.
Yeah,
You know, it's
Yeah.
not, but the North Ferry has a grant to study the water, the roadway going in there. They were given a grant. I don't know where they stand. I had to talk to Stellar on that or something.
right.
They're working on that, but.
But they're all hooked to the sewer system and the water system, so
Yeah.
it's different, but.
Just in the interest of making a comment on behalf of the fish, I guess when you were talking about not, the problem with docks and the toxicity of materials, and that was a great discussion about, you know, evolution of materials, but it sounds as though the problem exists and continues to. And I was thinking if we can have a moratorium on building oversized houses or mansions or whatever we wish to call them, you could also, at least theoretically, have a moratorium on the construction of these, or more scrutiny of the necessity of those. So I guess I'm just wanted
You say
to.
these, you're talking about bulkheads?
Or docks.
Docks. In other words, yeah, I mean, obviously, there would be people who would argue that they should be able to do that. But then on the other hand, if in fact we're the Conservation Advisory Board, to at least think about the conservation impact of that. I think Howard mentioned something that was really important. I know we go to, you know, the regs and government and everything else, which we obviously have to pay attention to, but we do have the right to have ordinances to restrict, and yeah. And I just wanted to suggest that maybe while we're looking at that, if we want the environment to be protected, we just might have to change some of the laws.
Add to it.
Or add to it,
Correct.
yeah, modify what we're doing.
The problem is, that I brought up the CCA being affecting the fish and everything, but the human who's touching it and working with it
Is
is
it-
more effect on his health or
Absolutely.
that person's health.
I'm sure.
So, you know, just working with it, cutting it, carrying it and put it down. That's why EPA outlawed it for residential construction in 2004, I think it was.
Right.
Because of that, because of the people sitting on a deck and stuff like that, so.
So if it's deleterious to the health of the worker and the people who are sitting on it and the environment, why would we not at least consider modifying what we're doing? I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there. but-
And there is no other viable product.
Right now, right, exactly.
So, I mean, you can regulate the size of a deck, a dock, and, you know, how far it sticks out into the bay, which we already do.
They're doing that.
They're modifying the code as we speak, but as far as materials, you're basically, unless you go back to all natural wood, which again, now you're gonna be rebuilding the dock every 6 years because the wood rots. So the abuse of the environment is doubled or tripled because your 50-year dock,
Kinds of rot.
well, it will, but
I know you'll have something to say. I think I need you.
it's just a hard thing.
It's a circle.
Yeah, I mean, unless something better comes along.
Well, you know, something better might come along if people were restricted from doing this. In fact, I would believe that there would be a material that would be found quickly if those that want a docks couldn't have them until there was yeah, the ingenuity would probably be remarkable. But I guess,
Recycle all the nasty plastic stuff that's thrown away.
yeah,
Yeah, they have the pilings.
there's probably a way to do this.
Yeah.
But if we never stop it, we'll never get.
Really
But
don't create feng
If you
shui.
get the ends to the mean, you know, the means to the end, you can, just because you're gonna use plastic and it's ugly, it may be better for the environment.
Yeah, but.
But there's a plastic leach,
what's
because
a-
now we got
what's a better
microplastics everywhere, so I mean,
environment
We
than-
got PFAS,
you
right?
sell every 10 years.
Well, you know, in the really olden days, when they used to build,
Here we go.
they used to get white oak, you know, and they would last 10 years.
There's no more old growth forest, though.
I know, we
We've
did all that.
gobbled all that stuff
We
up.
got nothing in the Amazon left. We've used it last.
Yeah,
There's really no viable alternatives, so
Yeah.
it's a difficult.
What do you think, Bill?
What do you think?
Food for thought, right?
I think we're nibbling on the fringes right now.
We're veering off
All
track.
right, all right, well.
All right.
Not to
That's a good way of putting it.
discount, it's, you're absolutely right, but I think
It's beyond our scope, I think.
I don't know that it is, though. I mean,
Bring it
I
up.
mean, at least to bring it up. That's all I would say. I'm not saying that we solve it here, because I agree we can't. But I do think if we don't bring those things up, especially when good points are made, we're
But none of these,
missing an opportunity, that's all.
none of these applications have docks or bulkheads.
Right. No, I know. You're right. It's not relevant to.
You can make it maybe an agenda
We made, that-
item
we made it
for
a,
discussion, but
was it 167 Ram Island Drive when the bulkhead collapsed?
169,
Yeah.
We made that then, but
I also think that if you go to the ideal extreme, you lose most of your audience. They're gonna roll their eyes and say, just another bunch of tree huggers and just get on.
Well, here's what I agree with
It's
you.
more important that we don't let people sort of boiling the frog, which they constantly do, and circumvent the code that we have written, which everybody can read and understand. I think that's where we should focus our efforts right now.
until we change.
I think that's where we do, and
And
yeah,
we are changing the codes. The town is working on the.
I think that's really important.
And we're working on the wetlands.
Absolutely.
Both of those codes.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time, and there's a lot of legal things. And, you know, engineers can read a lot of things, but the codes are written by lawyers.
Correct.
And a lawyer always needs his profession to keep existing, so there's always a loophole
That's
built into that.
something that they do, yes, exactly. Okay.
Okay, let's go
Next.
to the next one. Okay?
Ludeman.
Ludeman.
Howard, can I
Very well.
just interrupt for a moment?
Certainly.
Yes,
can.
please.
I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand up.
On the South Ferry application, the site plan 1 of 1, there is a test hole that's marked right by that
Yeah.
ADA ramp.
Yeah,
You
we
found it?
it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Found it For me. Thank you, Pam. Appreciate it. Okay, now Ludeman. This is on 15 Bayshore Drive. It's right on the water, right across from the White Preserve. It's a beautiful site. So I'll just go through my couple of items like I usually do, and then everybody else. can
Matt's not
comment.
here, right?
Huh?
Matt's not here. Sherman?
Oh, Matt, no, yeah, Matt hasn't been around. In fact, he was very late on getting back to me for approval to look at the property. And he came back on New Year's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I said, "Oh, you know, hope he's okay." Anyway, my comments were, really, it's on Matt's work, the engineering, the LPG tank and well on the survey plan coordinate with the site plan of Matt, C11. They're not on both. They should be on both. Second item I have is locate stormwater wells clear of 100-foot wetlands on the north side of the house.
Yeah, they're over here.
Yeah, and they could just move down, hopefully, you know.
Well, that stuff we put in like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the new septic system,
Yeah, you
And the
put in the
stormwater.
septic, yeah,
right?
but I don't know if you did the stormwater.
Yeah, we did the stormwater too, at the same time.
It should have been moved below that. That was my second comment. then locate the dry well for the swimming pool. There's no dry well for that indicated.
I think the reason those are there is because of this guy's well. Got to be 50 feet away.
All right, well, let them come back.
I think that's what that was. if I
That makes
remember right.
sense, makes sense.
Yeah. But the neighbor, they
And
didn't
you
show
don't want
them.
to get it too close to yours here.
Well, it doesn't really matter as much, but I think this guy's well. I forget what it was.
Very close at
Yeah.
that time. That should be on the survey. Survey.
If there is a pool dry well.
Yeah, there probably
That's-
isn't.
There might
A
not.
lot of pools were built before they
Yeah.
made that a requirement.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So this
think that-
pool may have, I'm not sure, I think this pool's been there.
Oh,
There may
yeah.
not be a dry well.
Since the 90s, at least. Maybe the 80s.
So
So the question would be, is there one and where is it?
is there one and where is it?
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
also-
Maybe there should be one.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, to get that out of the 100, now you're pushing water uphill. That's not really
Right.
gonna happen.
They just put in a whole new pumping system and everything for the pool and heating and the LBG tank.
Where the
for
tank
heating.
ends up going.
Yeah, so that's all,
Right.
you know, it's all new stuff, so I think we should just tell them, you know, look, you know, your well, you should have the well, it's against, you're polluting your own water right out front of the house. by
Right.
Dumping that in there, so
And again, there may be one, we just need to
there
know,
might be one.
is there one, where is it, and if not, why not?
Right, that's what I said, locate dry well for swimming pool. And any additional requirements, because I'm a little leery about the locks. But that's something else. Requirements of section 113 of the building code, you know, which is the swimming pool requirements. Since they're doing other work, they're tearing down the whole house, I mean,
Oh, are they?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's all coming-
right demolition of a house,
Right.
four-bedroom house,
Yeah,
to add a four-bedroom house.
they're keeping the foundation,
That's it, huh?
that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you changed your mind on that. Okay.
Well, well, right now, it's,
Right,
and on all of the plans that Matt has, it's CCA lumber.
right.
So that's outlawed by the EPA since 2004. So he has to change all his plans,
Right.
put in acceptable wood there. And then the other thing is that to replace the deck, it looks like they're putting in new sonotube footings
Mm-hmm.
on the plans. And that's too much work in the regulated 75, 100 foot for the porch. It's not just, I can see saving the porch, you know, restoring that, but
Right.
not the footings. Driving down all these.
Maybe they didn't,
sonotubes.
maybe they never had any footings.
Right, maybe they had just locust,
Well, now they probably,
yeah,
whatever it was.
concrete or something. But the concrete blocks or something, but
Yeah,
there
was a revision.
Too much. I think the requirements for the sound on the foundation, because they're gonna cover the
There's being a
porch.
new roof and all that.
Right.
They're actually covering the house, that's the new
So
part.
I don't want them to do that in regulated.
That was one of her questions.
They have a permit already, what are we talking about?
No, that's DEC.
that's an.
It's not a town permit, that's the state.
So that was the thing, that's the ones I had, and that if they're putting the new sonotube in for the decking, because they're putting enclosed porch, that's in the regulated area expansion, which is against 129.
Right,
So that's just the 5 items that I have for that. If anybody has anything else, we can add to it. Again, we're not voting on it tonight.
right.
So this is just information, unfortunately. Well, they can watch us on YouTube to find out what we said, so. So,
The only thing that, unless we missed it here, on 9, where it says, does the property contain any species of plant or animal life listed as rare? It says yes. It has the northern, oh, okay, it does have that, never mind, I'm sorry.
the back.
We didn't catch that when we were looking, when we were down there. It was dark, it was getting dark. Okay, we have the northern long-eared bat. I guess that's the only one then.
See,
Okay.
number 13, they say 65-foot deck to become covered porch, and then they,
Yeah.
leave it as a deck, and you might not need it, the sonotube footings in the regulated area,
Good point.
digging them down.
Well, footing for a deck may be different from a footing with a deck with a roof.
Exactly.
You know, it's the load. And again, if their pool is 50 years old, the deck may be just as old, and it may be just some old concrete block shown in the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the items.
If you're
like-
doing it new, you might as well do it.
Yeah. Except that it's in the regulated area, which it doesn't.
And again, the wetland permit is to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, well, the thing is that, the whole footing code is totally different, right? Than it used to be. I mean, now they want a 12-inch sonotube
14.
on a footing. 14 on a footing. It's bigger than that even. So, in order to build anything, even the deck, that's what you have to do. So,
Yeah, they call it a Bigfoot,
how do you do it with that?
Bigfoot 24.
Yeah, there's a flare at the bottom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, those are actually work pretty well.
Yeah,
They're not 14.
figure out how to get them in the hole. You gotta
Yeah.
build it, you have to dig a much bigger hole.
Yeah,
They quite a
they
bit.
dig the whole thing out.
Yeah, which is all in the regulated area.
Right.
And on 129, there's no expansion in the regulated area.
Well, but that was already there though, right?
No, not the sonotube. I don't know what was under, I
Yeah,
didn't,
but is that really technically an expansion if you're just replacing an existing footing?
no, but requiring that type of footing with a covered porch, the weight of the covered porch probably requires that type of footing.
Well, I think that's just for a regular deck, right? I mean, you still have to use the 14-inch sonotube, whether you're putting a,
Yeah, but my point being that, you have, let's say, if this is your deck and you have a footing at the corner, if you take a existing footing out and you make a bigger footing, is that technically new construction? You're repairing the
I
I
know
it's
what
all
you're saying.
splitting hairs.
I agree with you on that. It's a
So-
repair to it, but
But if they're expanding the deck and they're making new holes
No.
in a new area,
what they're basically doing is covering the deck, and I
Right.
think if they have to replace the whole deck at that time, that.
they're probably gonna tear everything because they're tearing the whole house down, so the whole thing's gonna
Yeah, the
go.
whole thing, and they're just keeping the foundation of the house. There's no foundation under the deck,
right?
so it's all new foundation.
Hence the new footings.
Yeah.
So I'm against that being in the regular. Let them come back and say something.
Right. I mean, I think Chris is right that you should be
It's
allowed to.
repair.
Yeah, it's really
I-
repair more than a
you-
new
You are allowed
expansion.
There's always those fine hairs that you have to split, when does a repair become a modification, become a renovation, become a,
exactly.
and that's still, I don't understand all that.
That's a problem with building department. Read.
That's a Reed problem.
We have enough problems, I think, but that's what we have.
All right.
All right, that's the items I have, and we'll list them, and we won't vote on it tonight. We'll leave it open or anything, okay?
Okay.
Anybody else have anything on?
No, that was it.
Hold that up, get rid of that one. Now we get into the ones that we weren't allowed last time. Now we're allowed to look at the site plan review for Gardner's Bay Country Club. That's this big set of drawings here. You only get one set. Basically, what they're doing is improving the irrigation. They're putting in a pump house in. And basically, our portion of the site review, because it's under Reed, he's the lead, is whether it adds noise to the neighborhood or is bad for viewing, so the vegetation covers it and everything. And golf course is going to cover that. There's no problem.
It's an underground pump station,
Yeah,
so it won't make any noise.
well, it's above ground, the pumps are above ground, but the reservoir behind, below it and everything, so it's,
Usually the pumps are below grade anyway, because they don't want them to freeze, but
they have it up high here.
Well, they gotta drain that whole system anyway.
yeah.
It's up high, but, and then the noise problem is,
This is only be used in the summer then, that's it?
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
You're not gonna irrigate in the winter.
What they're doing is,
Yeah,
yeah, it's for irrigation, and
Right.
what they're doing, they're taking some drainage from by the clubhouse and bringing it over there. And my only problem with that is that they use PVC, and I think it should be fiberglass. because PVC, again, is carcinogenic for the workers and for the aquifer that's below it, so. But that's not part of our site review. That's my comment to them.
Right. But all the wells are PVC. Every well, every well
I
is-
know, every well they drill. I don't know why.
do they leach it or not?
No,
So what's the problem, just cutting it?
cutting it, working with it, stuff like that.
And now you say fiberglass.
Not fiberglass.
Well, you said that you don't want them to use PVC, you want them to use fiberglass.
Fiberglass, and that's not
That's inert?
carcinogenic,
Okay.
the fiberglass.
I've never heard of fiberglass.
Well, that's basically what they're using on the bulkheads now.
No, that's plastic, isn't it?
Plastic fiberglass, most of it.
Really? I thought
Yeah,
it was
it's got fibers in it.
yeah, no, but that's to strengthen it.
But it's PVC though.
Yeah, it's PVC.
PVC sheeting.
I think it is, yeah.
Like I say, I've never really heard of fiberglass water pipes. I'd have to look at.
Fiberglass has been used for many years for electric conduits
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well, there's different,
PVC is used for water, they've used that.
there's black PVC, there's white PVC,
Well,
there's
yeah,
gray PVC, I mean, there's different.
Different
and-
grades, different grades.
And the word that people use is PVC, so it may not be particularly PVC. That's why I'm curious about the fiberglass.
Yeah, I never, now, have you ever drank out of a fiberglass water tank?
No.
It's
I haven't.
horrible.
That's-
It's like, it's gotta leach because
But I
it tastes
designed
it tastes and smells like
many
plastic.
hospitals where we wouldn't use PVC conduit underneath the floors.
Really?
Because of-
Even for water?
For water, and
What about the ABS, the black stuff like, Atatuck Plumbing uses? That stuff's actually is really good. You can't break that stuff with a hammer.
yeah.
It's,
I don't know, I don't.
So I'm curious what the specific product.
yeah, I mean, I would think that would be better. It's light and it's almost indestructible.
Plus, it's an 8-inch pipe they're putting in.
Right.
It's a large pipe, it's not a small thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, to the pump house, but anyway, I think for us, I don't see any problem with them building that there.
Yeah,
Mention like the events that they put a sound barrier in front of it, so the sound of the pump doesn't go into the neighbors, because it's right next to the neighbors
right.
up there, but I don't see anything major.
I didn't,
I mean, I think it's a good idea that J-Card has done here, you know, to try to make it a more efficient irrigation system to save water, use it from other parts, so I think I would say it's all right
Okay.
from us. Anybody have anything else?
Sounds reasonable.
So I would say that we should just say, we accept the site plan as proposed. As proposed.
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
If I use this paper in my file,
Yeah, get the fire going.
I get it every day. Yeah, any day it goes below 50, fireplace goes.
Oh, you use the fireplace actually?
Yeah,
Oh.
great. I got one of those stoves that are, you know.
Oh, you have it working in the fireplace.
Yeah. It's great. Blows out the hot. I think. Now, somebody will say, well, you know, you're polluting. The next one we have on that is the Liberty Lawn Care.
I thought we were all done with that.
Well, we did, and we approved everything on that, and then Walter came back and said, you know, they want to dig out underneath so they can use it for storage. And it really doesn't affect our review.
No.
We had everything, you know, it's putting vegetation in front of it, so I don't see anything. So as far as I'm concerned, I would say we should accept it as it is.
Yeah. Put the basement
Yeah, that's all he was doing. I mean, the rest of the site he's covering with, you know, that's fencing and stuff like that.
in. Right.
It's
I
fine.
think it's okay, so we'll approve that.
Yeah,
Should we take a
absolutely.
We don't
vote?
vote on these two.
Yeah, we can vote, yeah, might
We
as
could vote
well
on that.
have a,
I think we should.
yeah.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
last time we had a problem with it, but no, we can do that, so Gardeners Bay Country Club, do we accept it as proposed?
We do. All in favor?
Okay, so that's 6 of us, 6-0 to accept. And on the site plan for the Liberty, let's vote on that. I propose that I accept it.
Yes,
I'll second.
we all
Okay,
agree.
as
Yes.
proposed. Good,
Okay,
moving along nicely. Now, Albert, You're up next.
Town board update.
I don't have anything, Howard.
Okay. Just,
Brand new year,
okay, brand new year, okay.
brand new year.
Brand new board, full board now, you're all set, 5 of you to go. Knock it out, 6 hours a day, each one of you, councilman, you know. Yes, that's,
Yeah, I don't have anything.
okay. Yeah, I don't see much that we have on that stuff. I mean, as we mentioned before, it's just to get our preserved properties, the list that we gave out last February, what the result is with the town. Ken Lewis, what he proposes to do with the comments we made last February.
Yeah. I'll
We do that every year.
follow up.
Yeah, it's something we have to do because
Right.
it's in our.
That's right, the responsibilities of the
And-
committee.
We usually do it in
There's
February,
issues there as well. I mean, the garage at Dickerson Park
that one, yeah.
is in bad shape. I don't know, there's equipment in there. I don't know whose it is or what it's used for, if it's a lawn mower.
Well,
I'll-
before Ken Sherman mentioned that they were trying to use it, or they would have the town, the school kids take it down or something, but it's got asbestos on it.
I wouldn't do that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not the highway
the
department.
liability's kind of bad.
Was it asbestos side shingle?
Yeah.
I used to walk my dogs down there, there's broken glass all over the place, and I wouldn't have a bunch of kids in that place.
Yeah.
Liability.
It's a shame. I mean, that's the preserved properties. They're using the other garage for their buoys, which is fine. They fixed it up and everything like that.
This one's beyond
That is beyond repair. It should be removed. It's sort of like the boat across the street, you know, laying there, which is an environmental hazard, I think, but I
repair.
guess.
What was that? That's
I have no idea.
You mean the one for sale?
No, it's not.
You could put for free and it'd still sit there.
It was years ago, but it disappeared.
And it's,
But I think you can run the tag number on it.
yeah, well,
Because you know what, I think it's 10 or 15 cents a pound at the dump. But they have to empty
And
the
to
fuel
get it
tanks and well, you have to get it there. And so it's a lot cheaper to leave it sitting around.
What boat are you talking about?
on Menantic, South Menantic.
By Lord Shipyard.
Across,
Yeah, that's Amy Folkins.
across from Dickerson.
But I couldn't.
Okay, because I have a friend who has a boat in their yard. I just didn't know
What
what.
yard is
There
it?
are all boats in our yards.
Yeah.
You never get in the water.
And some of it's in great shape, but
This
this one is sort of.
Shoved in the weeds and it's dilapidated. It had been for sale and then nobody bought it and it hasn't moved in 10.
In the weeds, got it.
It's been engulfed and.
Town actually shoves it
Yeah.
into the.
Oh, do they shove it
into their
further?
property, yeah. Clear it out, so. Good evening.
Meeting adjourned.
It's okay.
I was thinking back in the old days when they built docks, because it's coming back to me now. And it was locust posts. I remember Bob Ryder and Tap used to go out, John, they could collect locust posts. And then they'd cut them down and try to let the bark fall off of them, like a year before they're gonna use them. Then they used the creosoted lumber for the stringers, and then just fir was the decking. And that's before they had all this stuff. And you used to get about 10 years out of the deck. That was the only thing you really had to replace. Unless the ice took up the poles, the locust lasted forever. You know, you have to put the fat end of the post down, and then it doesn't pull out as easy, you know? So as the ice caught it, the locust would
Slide up.
taper up and it would slide up.
Yeah.
If you put the fat end up, it would catch it, pull it, and just
right.
pull it right out, you know? But those
Somebody did on
docks-
my friend's dock and he was not happy.
Yeah, no.
First year his whole dock.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't had ice in a long time, but it used to be a thing. We used to come out, I was
Starting.
We used to come out every weekend
at the end of the
and check
week.
on the dock and, you know, we put the bubbler around and make sure it was working. You know,
But all of those houses over, at least some of the houses by me in Montclair Colony have the locust foundations.
yeah, oh yeah, well, everything was built on
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
the heights. Most of those, the big giant houses are locust posts.
yeah.
I spent years on
Still
those
there and they
houses.
won't go away.
The weirdest thing about that is I would dig under those houses and you get up to a post and it would just fall. You wonder
Like a rotten tooth.
which one is holding this? I mean, like, what is holding this house up? And I think as they settle, they just kind of contract it and it doesn't need much to hold them up. They just kind of compress on it.
Compress on.
Yeah,
Interesting.
themselves.
It's scary sometimes.
I mean.
It is scary,
20
but
feet underneath
interesting,
there, and
yeah.
There's
You
nothing.
could try to hammer a nail in one of those posts, you, forget it was like
Yeah.
iron. You
Oh,
just-
yeah.
No way, you couldn't even break drill bits.
They split great, they're great for firewood.
Great for firewood.
Oh, yeah.
Splits like crazy.
Yeah. But that's what they had when they didn't have anything. And it worked pretty good.
And it worked
Use
well.
what's got.
And the thing is with the creosote and stuff, when it's out of the water, it didn't really like leach as much as the stuff that was in the, you know, if it was in the water, like on a bulkhead, the bottom string, that would leach quite a bit, but the ones out of the water seemed to like, yeah, they didn't leach that much. It was nasty stuff, but, you know, it worked.
Interesting.
With a chainsaw.
But
Yeah.
It's fun to breathe.
probably safer than CCA touch.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the guys.
Cancer's cancer, I don't know.
Cancer's
Yeah.
cancer, you're right.
Yeah, fire cancer, that'd be the one I'd want. I'm like, okay. Heard that before.
I know Kim used to say you get burned. from
Find
it.
out any more about those
I'm saying with the chainsaw, you don't,
Hayden
that stuff
Lane,
get all over your side.
that-
That was bad.
thing that looks like a
Cute.
hotel when you go down to Menhaden
I
Lane.
haven't found anything, I can't.
I can't,
From, and I'm not going on the property, so.
no, but you can see it from the beach and it's amazing. I don't know how that ever happened, but
Yeah, it's old though, that's,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
I'll look into that. Any old business, well, that's one of the old business, and light pollution is another, but that's a tough one, a light pollution, you know, because if a person keeps his shades up at night, what are you gonna do? You know?
Howard, I read, in fact, I mentioned it to Chris when I saw him in the post office, but I had read in Dan's papers, I don't know, a month ago, that Southampton has just strengthened their dark skies ordinance. So, and I don't know what I haven't seen the ordinance, and I didn't know, again, is it our purview to even go looking for those kind of things and talking about them? That's a
can.
question, but, you know, because it's come up a few times, it appears that, you know, the Hamptons are, not only have one, but are strengthening what they have. And I think we're talking, at least, you know, in theory, about strengthening some of ours. So it might not be a bad idea to look at what area, yeah. I mean, we don't have to do it, but, we can- yeah, would you? That'd be great. Okay,
Because we have a lot of violations of the fixtures being used.
yeah,
Not people opening their shades, but the actual light fixtures are not dark sky compliant, I put it. The ones at the library, they're fine, they cut off right at the property line, everything that was proposed there is good. But most of the fixtures, I mean, you go to the store and you say, oh, that's a beautiful fixture, you know, but it's not compliant with dark skies. There's a symbol, there's a label on them that they are, the ones that are, but they're not as pretty fixtures, you know. But actually, they're better for security because you don't get the glare of the light if you're looking around, and you just get the brightness on the ground.
oh, okay, and that is better.
well, remember years ago when people, so many people were having solar lights, which was really very annoying to other people. They didn't want to see these lights all night long.
Right.
Yeah, we went through a whole thing about that.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't see too many of them anymore, frankly.
Well, because the batteries don't last that long.
You know,
Okay, well, I don't feel good, whatever.
But
but I think they're also really bad for wildlife. I mean, it's so, you know,
the environment.
right? I mean, for nocturnal animals, that's a horrible thing, so, you know.
Absolutely, and we should be interested in that. And we'll look into
I am.
it. Well,
Oh, I'm-
it's
Yeah,
good. Okay.
yeah, okay.
Anybody want to?
Amber, did you have anything you'd like to share with us? No?
I assigned myself as one of the liaisons this year, so.
Good.
Okay. Oh, great. So glad you're here. Oh, yes.
Review
Thank
with
you.
Amber, that
Yes.
the wetlands applications, we discussed it, gave items that we thought would be helpful to it, but we didn't vote on it because of Pam bringing up the secret that the town should be taken care of before we look at it, especially on the South Ferry, because that's a commercial property and it's got other restrictions, I guess, or allowances, let's say, on that, you know, for the wetlands. But we brought up some items,
I'll go back and watch the tape for the part of the meeting.
or Jessica will put it in the minutes that we discussed.
And
Just-
so does that mean you'll vote on it next month at that meeting?
No, we're waiting, actually, what Pam says is that the town board action,
Type 1 action.
type 1 secret. Do you have,
So they're back in,
do they have copies of the Pam was very helpful on getting this to us.
Right, I will check with, council, and to just double check the order of.
yeah, so if we're,
That's what it basically is, that the two things, so. All right,
yeah, and Ludeman, yeah.
set?
The Ludeman was the other one we're gonna comment on, but not vote on, right?
Yeah, exactly, I didn't.
Just those two.
Again, but that's another one with a bunch of comments on it, a
Right.
lot more.
So that one gets a type 1 secret too?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Even though it's pre-existing already?
It's
Well, I think
in,
the original application had been because they were gonna modify the existing house.
Right.
Now they're tearing the whole house
Thing
down.
just
down.
leaving the
So
foundation.
they got the modified DEC permit, but it has to go back to them.
Oh, okay, all right.
So those two, so we'll wait for the town to direct, before we take further action, let's put it that way.
We would vote yes.
They're not going up though, they're just changing the roof line and just doing whatever. Yeah.
And I don't look at the architectural plans that much, I just know that the basic foundations gonna stay there, and they were adding the sonotube and stuff like that, which I was against in the wetlands.
Right.
And the site plan is not.
It would have been better back in the old days when you could just put the house back enough that, I mean, they had plenty of properties when they built, but that's how everybody did things back then, you know.
We went through, so.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know, even the
Yeah.
modern ones.
Yeah.
All right, anybody else have anything? I make Pam, anything else tonight? She doesn't have a flag up, so it's okay. So I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. It's 8:10, is it? I can't see that.
8 something.
Doing pretty good on time, Howard. Half hour, 45 minutes, an hour.
Yeah,
That's good. Yeah.
I'm tired, you know, and you must be hungry. That's good.
So we all voted that we adjourn, right?
Yes, we voted.
Okay, all right.